Why? Yeah, they're really sparkly.
I know, right? And
They're
I
really
I
cool.
bought these I bought these like 2 or 3 years ago, and I just never wore them. And
Hmm.
then I was like, I'm gonna wear my earrings today.
Oh my gosh. I
So
love the fact that you're like in your jammies with like super fancy earrings. This is the Kardashian episode, I think.
I don't have my
You don't have your salad in a box that you can shake.
Hit the damn record and see
Hit
if we
the
can
damn
do
record. See we record something. Premiumbeat.com.
friend. How you doing?
I'm so good. It's really good to talk to you. Really good to see you.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're feeling better too. So
Woohoo!
yeah, you look like $100.
Thanks. I feel like $100. I feel like $100. I feel way better than I did.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So, welcome to the Unlikely Friends podcast.
Where two friends living abroad talks about race relations, and
What it means to us, how we feel about it.
how we feel about it, and everything in between. So
Mm-hmm.
there it
Gossip.
is. Now, so if you are watching us on YouTube and you like what you see, please follow us on YouTube and on Spotify. So
Mm-hmm.
like, share, and subscribe.
Hit the notification bell if you want to hear from us more often.
Ding,
Dun, dun,
ding, baby, ding,
dun.
ding.
Dang.
And this video that you are watching today is for education and entertainment purposes only.
So, how have you been?
Um, I have to be honest, ever
Hmm.
since the new year, I have been, I don't want to say tired, but really in need of a vacation, I think. And also, I think I need to get a new bed with new pillows because I have been
Mm.
waking up. Yeah, I've been waking up. I have to be honest, for like the past year or so, and didn't make the connection. I've been waking up for the past year or so with like severe neck pain. Not severe neck pain, but neck pain
Yeah.
to the point where it's like I have a headache. You
Like
know
a
what I
crick in
mean?
your neck. Yeah.
Yeah, like a crick in my
Mm-hmm.
neck. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like I can turn my head. I can do everything that I need to do, but it's just that during the day, it's just that I always have to do this and I've finally
Mm-hmm.
put two and two together, and I was like, it might be my bed is quite
My
old,
pillows.
and it
Ah,
might be
yeah.
my pillows. My pillows are ancient, so I think I need to
Mm.
buy a new bed set. Actually,
You're, yeah, you're supposed to change your bed. What is it? Once every like 10 years or something. And I know not everybody does that. I didn't do it like as a child.
well, my bed is secondhand, so I don't know how old that mattress is. So
Mm.
I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
buy. I'm gonna have to splurge and spend like 30 or 40,000 lira on a new bed. I'm just gonna have to. So
Listen, I got mine also gently used. The person that had it before me only used it for like 3 months or something, and they had to move out of the country quickly for work or something like that. I don't
yeah,
really know the full story, but I know that it was gently used. And I know that some people might be like, oh, who wants to old mattress? But if you go to a hotel and if you
right.
stay in an Airbnb, what's the
Nasty.
difference?
What's the difference? Absolutely.
So, anyway, at least this was only used by one person and not, you know,
Well, when I
not that
bought
there's
mine,
anything wrong with that. You can use whatever
absolutely
kind of bed
not.
you want,
Absolutely
but
not. There's no shame in that.
I tell you, like a new mattress, it can change your life and new pillows. I got
Yeah,
pillows from IKEA when I moved here because I needed more. I just had like two or something. And I'm a
yeah.
pillow girl. I like a lot of pillow. And um, the ones that I had, I just threw out because I was like, these are all I just, I need to get a new set. And it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I
Huge.
think I'm just gonna have to spend that money and just do it.
Start
I'm
with the
gonna do that.
pillows though. I mean, you never know. It could just be the pillow issue.
It could just be the pillows. It could very well be.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just it's so annoying that you have to do this all the time, and you have the tension here, and it's like
Yeah, yeah,
what?
yeah.
there's a trend on TikTok now, and
Oh gosh.
it's yeah, and it's usually two friends that say at the same time, we
Hmm.
listen and we don't judge. You have to tell me something that you never told me that would probably upset me. We
We
listen
listen and
and
we
we
don't
don't judge.
judge.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm listening.
I just found out that a family member was most definitely a member of the KKK.
The lies you
I'm not
tell.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying. Isn't that crazy?
Desma.
David, David. I I was today years old when I found out that a family member in arm's length. So there are so many things to say about it.
Hmm.
Number one, the first thing, I do not want to come across as a white girl, feel so like I don't want to make it about myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because that can happen. Like it's all about me and about my guilt and no 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 no.
yeah,
I want to avoid that kind of conversation. What I want to tell you is the facts and how I learned about it. I was talking to a family member. I'll try to make this really vague because I feel like I just don't want to insert any family drama,
yeah,
which I don't think there would be any pushback. I think this is just part of our family history that we have, in my opinion, we need to talk about.
yeah.
I was talking to a family member because I was recently hospitalized, and we were just I think she was trying to send me something to kind of like lighten the mood and whatever, and that's certainly not what happened. But um, she sent me a photo of a figurine or something that was in an older family member's house that most certainly was a racist figurine. Those little ones. Anyway, it was there. And she said, I'm just talking to another family member about like the things that were in our family's house, our family's houses. And I said, well, I guess that doesn't surprise me too much. Being where I'm from, and I was born in a very small town in Virginia, and definitely not a lot of exposure to people that looked different than me or in that community. And she said, I was talking to my dad one time about him going into his father's closet and finding robes. And I didn't understand what she meant. I was like, what are you talking about? Everybody has a robe, like a bathrobe. And she said, no, like a white robe, and she said, you don't know what that. And I was like, oh, 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 oh. And David, this is within arm's reach. It's within arm's reach. It's not like 5 or 6 generations before. This is like right there. And I talked to her about it, and I said, well, what? Like, how? And it's not the family that I would assume it would be. Now, I don't know. And this is something that I think, this is a question I think we need to talk about in our families. What is our history? Did anybody have anything to do with this? And if they did, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to change the narrative? How are we going to shift?
It's
David,
difficult.
arm's reach.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's like right there. It's right there. And I think there were other stories of pulling out a gun because some guy was leaning on his car. There were some stories of burning the crosses. There were some stories of, oh, but we did some good. If somebody was cheating on their wife, then we would burn a cross in their front yard. How is that any good? I don't understand. I think they were trying to I think the person that was in the KKK was trying to justify the behavior.
When there is no justification for it.
There is zero justification, none. And it was, I think I'm still, like I said, I'm still processing this information. I'm still in shock. But I also am like, what do I do with this information? What do I do? And how did I not know this until I was 45 years old? How did I not know?
Well, I will tell you, a lot of the people who, especially as you explained it, like it's like one or two generations away,
Yeah,
a lot of them thought that way because that's just air quotes how it was back then,
right.
but probably have gradually with the times also changed their views. He or she, I assume it's a he, probably became had closer contact with I want to say black people. I assume that's where his rage was focused against, or somebody Jewish, because I have heard of these members who do uh, have closer contacts with black people, and their views have changed. Like,
Don't know. And I shamefully, the only person I've talked to about this was the person that shared it with me. I need to know so that I can make sure that I continue to educate myself and I continue to grow and I continue to want to have a dialogue. You know what I mean? Well, I will anyway. But don't you think it's important for me to know more? Like,
on one side, yes, um, but I have to be honest. On the other side, it's, oh my God, you want to protect your sanity too, you know.
right? Like, right. And I think it's really important for us to talk about in our family. And if that's not a question that you've asked your family before or older family members, maybe you should, because it's just important. It's important. It is such a double-edged sword, because who wants to know more about that? But I just feel like it's important. I feel like in order to thoroughly shift that narrative,
I
like,
think. Go ahead.
no, I just think that I think we should talk about it in our family. Well, why in the world what were they thinking? Who said, how, those questions.
Desmond, you didn't even make a sentence.
I didn't, because as you can see, I'm
You was
still
like, who's in,
processing.
when, and
I was,
how.
I
Subject,
sat
verb,
here,
object.
I sat here on my carpet with my dog, and I was like, what?
How do you? I mean, yes, knowing about it, learning about it is one thing. Dealing with it, how to move forward from this point on, that's another thing. That's
Talk
not
about
easy.
deconstruction.
Talk about deconstruction. Man, you hit it right on the nose.
Talk
Talk
about
about
deconstruction.
deconstruction.
Like, that is a
That's it. We ended the podcast right there. Bye.
we're done.
We're done. You just put the nail in it. It's like
Yeah.
that is the mother lode of deconstruction right there.
Yeah.
Our education system in the United States really leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to teaching history, which probably
Yeah.
which probably links to why it's so difficult for people to deconstruct because of the guilt. You know,
Mhm.
A lot of them say, "Oh, I don't want to learn about it because it makes," or let's not have the children learn about it because it makes them feel guilty. It makes them feel bad for being a white person. Let's just teach them something else. But why can't we teach this type of stuff in school without people being so sensitive about it? It happened. It is a part of the American experience. Now, black children don't have that luxury of escaping racism. They don't have that luxury. A white kid can go up to a black kid and call him some kind of slur, and the black kid is always lectured, be the bigger person, rise above it, which isn't fair because then the white student is not taught about racism. They're taught that they can just do this if they want to, and the black person has to deal with it. If we teach children about racism, yes, it's going to make them feel uncomfortable. Yes, it should make them feel bad. And guess what?
Definitely.
There will be less racism in the United States, not unless they're learning what they should learn at school, but then they're still being taught to be racist at home. That's something completely different. But if you extract this from the school system and you just tell students, oh, we're not going to learn this because it makes the students feel bad. Well, how do we solve this problem? How do the children know that this was a dark period in history? How do we convey that to them? And then the black
And how
student,
how are you going to keep it from happening again? The only way that
exactly.
you can do that is with education,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
exactly,
so we don't
exactly.
repeat the same patterns.
Well, like I said, the thing is that, we don't want our children to feel bad. They have to know about this. Yes, it will make them feel bad. Yes, it will make them feel uncomfortable. But guess what? How do you think that black child feels when he's being called the N word for no reason or, on the street? Okay, he has to deal with it. Be the bigger person, rise above it. When they go low, you go high. What? Come on. Why do we have to deal with that and they don't?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that was the mantra in the United States for so many decades that people like your family member were able to thrive because they just didn't want to own up to it or face it head on and say, look, this is not a cool idea. This is not good. Or they probably also didn't have the tools themselves to combat it.
Yeah.
I think black children are put in harm's way through racism all the time, and white children aren't. They don't have to learn about racism. They don't have to. They have no idea. They think, because they hear it on a rap song or whatever, they think they can say or do. What? Are you kidding me? There are still students in high school and first second year of university, blackface and saying racial slurs and having these horrible stereotypes about black people. Why? Because they don't learn about it in history. I was watching this one TikTok girl. Her name escapes me, and I don't want to give her name because people start bullying and whatnot. She made the comment, she's like, black people wanted to be slaves. She says they wanted this. It's like, did you read a history book? Do you know about chattel slavery?
Where are you
Yeah.
getting that idea?
She said, no, this is what it was supposed to be. It's in the Bible. I'm like, in the Bible? What?
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where in the world did you read that?
She believed this 100%, and people dragged her on the internet. And then
Yeah, well,
well, she educated herself and she made an apology because, she was going up by her upbringing at home and not in school
yeah.
because they don't learn about it in school because it makes them feel bad.
No,
So surprising.
no. I think most definitely we need to talk about it at school, but more importantly, we need to talk about it at home and have those conversations and ask those questions, because how are we going to know if we don't ask? And how are we going to change the pattern? I remember a teacher said to me, and she was one of my favorite teachers. She said, life is a series of patterns interrupted by a few thoughts. And it's absolutely the truth.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that great? And I've kept
That's
it. Like I
nice.
think I learned it in 6th grade or something, and she was a fantastic teacher. She was an English teacher, I think. English or
Yeah,
history, one of the
that's
two.
nice though.
But she was very inspiring. And so I thought I think the only way to interrupt those patterns is to talk about it and think about it, you know?
The reason why I left the United States was to do the European tour of the musical Hair. And
Mhm.
after that tour, um, I wanted to travel around Europe, for not vacation, but just to see what, Europe was about, because I knew that if I go back to the United States, then I would probably never have the opportunity to come back to Europe again. So after the tour, I stayed in Switzerland, Germany, France. I stayed in a lot of places. And when I say stayed, I mean when I was living in Switzerland, I lived in Switzerland for like 3 or 4 years, and
I didn't know that.
um, I lived in Germany, in Frankfurt for about 15 years. Yeah, 15 years.
It's a long time
It is.
to
I'm an
be in
old man.
Germany. No, I'm not saying that. I just didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't know that you lived in Switzerland. I think I
hmm
knew that you were like you've been there, but I didn't know that you lived there.
No, I lived in Switzerland for like 3 or 4 years. Then I moved to Germany and I stayed in other countries. I stayed in Austria for like a month and I loved it. Loved every minute
I
of it.
love Austria.
It's
Oh my
so beautiful.
gosh.
Anyway,
The cakes, the
yeah,
coffee.
I know. I
So good.
miss this one type of pie that they have. It's called Sachertorte. Oh, I love it. Anyway, um, I said to myself, I'm going to stay and experience as much of Europe as I can. And when I was here, I lived in these different countries. I traveled to different countries. I was able to go to Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Czech Republic, Slovenia, Slovakia, Romania. I was based in Germany, if you will.
Yeah.
And I
And
said,
it's close, you know.
I am not going to go back to the United States because you know what? Being here, there is a little bit more of a uh, security when it comes to health. Because, and I'll tell you what brought me to that. Did you see that
Hmm.
documentary, Sicko?
No, I haven't. I know. I was gonna watch it this
Des.
morning. I was gonna watch it this morning because I had time, and then I text you and I was like, I fell asleep again. I was gonna watch it this
You're
morning,
so cute.
but I needed sleep. I was for those of you guys that
Listen,
probably
Desma,
don't
you
know,
just got
I was
over
hospitalized.
pneumonia.
Yeah, I was hospitalized for a few days with pneumonia and bacterial pneumonia, which is not nice. And I didn't think, I didn't take it very seriously. I was like, oh, I have a flu or whatever. Anyway, the doctor was
Yeah.
like, I would rather
Pneumonia
you
is
stay in the
nothing to play
hospital
with.
because you're sick.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
nothing to
all right,
play
fine.
with. Absolutely nothing to play
Anyway,
with.
they treated me very well and I feel so much better, but I
That's
do
good.
have that fatigue after. Like
Yeah.
I was walking down the road the other day and I was like, God, I could sit down and pass out right here. I'm so tired. And I know that's part of it anyway. So this morning I was like, I think I'm just gonna go back to sleep. And I did. And I feel great. But I didn't get to watch it. But I will
Mm.
watch it. I will. Because
The reason
I
why
like
it
these
was
documentaries.
the reason why I thought that documentary was so eye-opening is because what brought me
Oh
to
my
that
gosh,
was because when
yes.
I was in Germany, I was staying with a friend of mine and I cut my finger to the bone. The tip of my finger was almost cut off. And they rushed me to the hospital. So they patched me up and gave me drugs and everything. And, I was like, okay, how much is this going to be? They're like, what? And I was like, how much do I? They're like, no, 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 no. I was like, but I'm not a citizen of this country. They're like, that doesn't matter. You are in need of medical help. This is the medical help that we give you. That's it. So then I started getting information from a friend of mine who was in Germany, who was also an American. I was like, how does this work? How is this
Yeah.
possible? She was like,
Hmm.
no, David, because they have a universal health care here. She says everybody gets health care. Everybody. She says, and you
Yeah.
don't have to pay for it. The state pay for it. She says everybody pays for the system. She says every month a little bit of money is taken out of everybody's paycheck for situations like this. And I says, and
Yeah.
everybody pays for everybody else's healthcare. She says, well, it's there for everybody. So if you need it, you can access
You
it.
can use it. Yeah.
Right. So, and I think that's the one thing that in the United States that Americans just don't understand. They think, why should I pay healthcare for him if I'm not? It's like, no, but it's for everybody. Everybody
And
gets to use
as
it.
a human, you have a right to health care.
But then
I
again,
don't care who you are, you know?
there are lots of crooked doctors who believe that healthcare is not a human right; it's a privilege. There are lots of
Mm,
doctors who think like that, especially in the pharmaceutical companies. That's why
mm,
the medication in the United States is so unbelievably expensive. When I told my sister how much I pay for, because unfortunately high blood pressure runs in my family. Everybody in my family
mm.
has high blood pressure. When I told my sister how much I pay for high blood pressure medicine, she she was so shocked. Let me check the price of blood pressure medicine in the United States.
While you're checking, I'll tell you what happened to me. So when I was ill, like I thought it was a flu actually, and so I went to the doctor, and they didn't check for anything pneumonia related. They just said I had a viral infection. Sent me home. I paid to have a like a blood test and that kind of thing. And then I went back a few days later because my fever had not gone down, and in fact it got worse. And then that's when they admitted me. Now I was in the hospital for 3 days, nearly 3 nights, but I was allowed to go home, um, with constant care, medicine, antibiotics, my own room, um, three different doctors that were looking after me, a respiratory therapist, a pulmonary specialist, and my care doctor. And uh, the lovely staff, the nurses. When I left, I was fully prepared to say Merry Christmas to me. That is a huge medical bill. And in the US, it probably would have been. Like when you stay at the hospital for, a few days, you're not looking at a cheap bill typically. Um, they came in, told me how much it was. I was floored. I paid and I left. Floored as in it was less than $100, David.
Really?
Less than $100.
This is your private health insurance, right?
This
Or
is
was the state?
now I have private health insurance. Yes. But when you're talking about medical care in general, even if you have private health insurance in the US, oftentimes you're looking at a huge bill when you leave the hospital. You
Right.
know, it's not going to be cheap. Or they bill you and you have to pay a payments, whatever it is. I'm very, very fortunate to have had very good care. I'm also extremely fortunate to have very good health insurance. But in the scope of things, in the cost of things, it's considerably less than what I would have dealt with if I was in the US.
My blood pressure medicine for the
Hmm.
month costs me like 105 lira. It all depends on where I'm buying it, which is only like $2.
Yeah,
And
like
I just looked, and I just
$3,
looked.
three and a half,
Sorry,
maybe.
like $3.5 maybe.
Yeah.
And I just looked here, and it says the average annual cost, but this is annual, it says. The average
Hmm.
annual cost was $336 per year, which means,
It's considerably more because yours is only $36 a year,
right. No, not
right?
36. Well, yeah, approximately.
Yeah, ish. Maybe 40.
So that's like almost like $30 a year, $30 a month for
versus three
Two,
bucks.
$3. That's like it's
That's it.
unreal.
But it's
But
yeah.
it
I mean, when I think about it, and I talked to my mom after I left the hospital, I'm like, why in the world would I? Why would I go back? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm
Why would
sorry,
I go
my
back?
phone
Because
is.
knowing that if I go back to the United States, that I have pre-existing conditions. Uh, I am prone to diabetes because it runs in my family. I have pre-existing conditions, and health insurance companies in the United States won't insure me. I found out that I didn't have to pay for anything as long as I paid into the system. I was like, well, why on earth would I ever want to go back to the United States where don't have health insurance, B, I don't have guaranteed vacation time, and C, everything is much more affordable here. I don't know why the United States really they won't get on board with this. It's because of that German guy who said, universal health care is a good idea, but it's not good for us now because of black people. And then that was taken over by the Republican Party. They started calling it socialist program, communism. What shocked me the most about that documentary is that I did not realize how involved Hillary Clinton was in this. She was really trying to push for this. And she was kiboshed and told to never speak about it again. And then all of a sudden, she was in the pocket of the HMOs. Big Pharma bought the United States. That's why America has no universal health care. The medication in the
It's
United States is
money,
so
you know?
expensive. To stay in a hospital is so expensive. When I saw this documentary and they were like, "Oh, you have to pay for an ambulance," but nobody pays for an ambulance here. Nobody pays for a doctor. If I go
Yeah.
to my primary physician right now, he can look at me, diagnose me, he can refer me to another doctor, go to that doctor, get tests done, this and that and the other, and I won't have to pay a dime.
Mhm.
The only thing that I
Yeah.
might have to pay for on state health insurance, I might have to pay for is medication if I need it. And even then, it's dirt cheap. That is something that I don't miss in the United States. Because at my age, going back to the United States, trying to get health care, no, no. Mm-mm. can we
Thank
just
God.
take can we just take the moment and admire
It looks nice.
my hair?
It
And
looks
yes,
nice.
I did it myself.
Did you really?
I did it myself. So,
It looks good.
and let me tell you, and this is probably one of the bad things about living in a country where there are not a lot of black people. Um, I have to do this myself. I would love to go to a salon and get this done.
Yeah, where can you I mean, there has to be. Come
There
on.
is, but they're so expensive
Expensive.
because they know there
Right.
are not a lot of black people here. So
Right, right, right,
I
right.
usually end up doing it myself. But I'm sorry, my hair looks bomb. It looks fire. So I think I did a good job.
It looks really nice.
Why, thank
Really
you. Thank
nice.
you.
Um, I feel like I've told you this before, but when I traveled, I went to go see my friend, our mutual friend that lives in Mozambique.
Hmm.
Uh, God, some of the braids there. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Let me tell
Like
you
I
something.
could
These
not
African women know how
believe
to
how beautiful.
braid. Yes.
Like beautiful. Just and I always felt like I didn't want to stare too much, but I kind of wanted to just look at how intricate it was. I didn't want to be that weird person that was like, "Mm, your hair is beautiful."
Let me tell you something. When I first came here, uh, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to get some cornrows put in my head. Just straight
Mm,
back."
hmm.
This woman, she braided my hair so tight. Desma,
Ooh.
she braided my thoughts. That's how
Sorry.
I was in pain. I was like this. When I left, I was like this.
Oh my gosh.
My head was so tight. Those braids were in so tight. She braided my thoughts. I couldn't think. I was like, somebody give me an aspirin.
That's not typical, right? Like it
It's
doesn't
not
have
typical.
to be
Well, I
that,
mean,
right?
I'm what they call tender-headed. So,
Okay.
but uh, she says I'm not doing this hard. She says I'm just braiding. I'm like, you are pulling my soul out of my body.
Through my head.
Through the scalp of my head, you are snatching my soul.
Oh my
And she used to
gosh.
say, "You just
Ouchie.
tender-headed," and you. But let me tell you something. They know how to braid. They really do. So
Really pretty braids.
yeah,
Well, your hair
yeah.
looks so nice. So,
Thank you so much. I think I did a really, really good job. I think I did. Hmm.
hmm hmm
Yes.
so I'll blow your mind. I've been a vegetarian for a really long time.
Right.
Pescatarian, played around with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of this recent health issue and because I've been doing some looking up about, different things that maybe I can try, I have tried now eating meat.
Oh,
Look
good
out.
for you.
So I'm not going to be a major crazy carnivore. We're not looking at a lion here, but we're looking at a sometimes can have meat. It's acceptable.
Listen to me. I'm like, good for you. Like you achieved something.
Hey, I've got a really really good friend, and she was like, "Yay!"
Really? Well,
Yeah,
I don't know if I told you this, but when I was in Germany for the almost seven, I want to say 7 to 9 years approximately, I was a vegetarian until I came to Turkey.
yeah.
Yeah, I was a vegetarian for a
Listen,
long
there's some
time.
really delicious meat here, and I wasn't a vegetarian when I moved here. I've been a bit
Okay.
vegetarian before. It was like 4 years I was vegetarian, and this I don't know how long I've been. But I've not really been a vegetarian. I've been like pescatarian for a long
Mm-hmm.
time. I was vegetarian and then I was pescatarian and now I'm just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like whatever. Like I don't feel like I want to go out and eat a big old steak, but
Right. And
I'm not
I
going to
don't
gnaw
think
on a chicken leg, but
no, no. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, going through stints. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
maybe for a year or two I'll be a vegetarian and then I'll go gradually go. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing
right.
wrong with that. And people, there's also a stigmatism, not stigmatism. Is it stigmatism? Is the word I'm looking
A
for
stigma?
stigmatism? Stigma about, people against vegetarians?
Oh,
Not
people that don't
stereotype.
like vegetarians?
Yeah, stigmatism,
Astigmatism is something in your eyeballs.
right? Wait a minute, what's the word I'm looking for?
A stigma? It's a stigma.
No, a stigma is in your eyeball.
Uh-uh. Astigmatism is, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Look at us trying to decipher
A
the English
sty.
language.
A sty is in your eyeball.
No, because I have astigmatism in my eye. That's when the lens is warped.
I never do.
You so silly.
Anyway, yeah. There can be on both sides, and I'm sure I might get a little maybe somebody an email like I can't believe you eat meat again, murder,
Yeah,
murder.
because but then again,
But
you have a
I've done
lot
a
of these
really
veg.
good job.
No,
I've
and
done
you
a
know
really
what?
good job.
And I loved having you as a vegetarian friend because there are so many people who are vegetarians like, they get on this pedestal. I can't believe that you're eating meat and you're just a horrible
I never
person. And
cared.
I'm
I
like,
never cared.
you know what?
I never cared. And I mean, there are people that are vegan that are like that also. Like that, they go off the deep end. I can't believe
It's
that
like,
animal
come
products.
on.
It's your business, it's your choice, but you
It's
do
your
not have to. It's
business.
just
It's
like
your
religion.
choice.
Do not share it
Absolutely.
with me. I don't care what you choose, but
Who
you don't
said
have
that? I
to
can't
push it
remember
on
who
me.
said that. Who said that? She says, religion is like a penis. It's nice that you have one, but when you start waving it in my face, there's a problem.
Yeah. Nobody asked to see it. Nobody wants to know
Yes.
anything about it. Like, keep it in your pants.
Sorry, cat bomb. What's wrong with you?
Keep your opinions to yourself. But I was never a vegetarian that was like, you can anyway. I don't want to. That is also not a sentence. Look at that kitty. I said, "Little kitty, look at that kitty." There's a kitty in the screen. For those of you that are listening, the cat has joined the chat, and
Yes.
so cute. What a cutie patootie. But yeah, so I'm eating meat now, and I've had some chicken. It was great. My stomach
Mm-hmm.
wasn't sure what to do with it, but it's okay.
Okay. I'm
That's
having chicken
typical.
today, actually. I'm having chicken in spinach sauce and Brussels sprouts.
Hey, look out. One day, maybe even I will eat some bacon. Maybe.
I'm not going that far. I'm not eating pork.
Right. That's the only
I'm not
thing that
eating
I
pork.
missed as a vegetarian, really. Because I would smell it and be like, "Oh my god, you're bacon."
It's so good. You can eat beef
There's
bacon.
a that's a southern lady thing. I'm saying, "I'm gonna bacon, I'm gonna make bacon." I've been to France once. I went years ago. It was like summertime, and I always wanted to go to this little city. It's a touristy city. It's not Paris. But I went, and number one, there was a heat wave that was happening that time period, and there were no ACs anywhere, and I had
No, not in
a
Europe.
fan. I had a fan in my Airbnb that I had, and it was like somebody was like this. It was like no air, like no air at all. It was so bad. It was so bad. I was so hot. I was like, oh my gosh, I've lost him.
Oh, Jesus.
He's gone. He's gone. We've lost him. We've lost him totally.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, God.
It was a it was a
Oh,
horrible
God.
fan. It was a horrible fan. So I would get like cold showers, and I'd sit there with that thing like, oh my god,
Oh, God.
you're making me
Oh,
cry.
oh, God. That was too much. Oh,
So
Jesus.
yeah, so I was hot. I was hot. It was hot. It was awful and hot. And I was also super hungry because I could never get the restaurants. They were never open in the time that
Oh,
I needed them to open. So I didn't have the
oh.
best time in France, but and I also that's where I also like nearly crap my pants. So I didn't have a great experience.
I'm
We
good thing. Yeah.
mm, mm,
Mm,
mm,
mm,
mm.
mm, mm,
Thanks for chatting with me today. It was a kind
Thank you,
of heavy
friend.
day. We had heavy moments. We had light moments,
Yeah, we had
but it
a
was
moment.
nice. Yeah, it was
It
nice.
was a
It was
moment.
nice to talk to you
It was
as
nice to talk
always.
to you too, and I'm so glad that you're better because I missed you.
Thank you. Me too. I'm
I
so
really,
glad.
really missed you,
Thank
and
God
I'm
for modern
sure,
medicine.
yes, and I'm sure
So.
our audience missed you too.
Oh,
So,
and I should say thank you so much to Adam
oh
for coming
yeah,
in, and thank you so much. And
yeah,
it was lovely. I liked it. I
he
liked
was a good
listening to you
sport. He
guys.
was a good sport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got to have
we
him
should
on
have,
again,
yeah, we should have him on a little more
right?
often. Yeah, it'll be the three of us. Why not? A menage a trois.
Ta-da-da, ta-da-da.
Anyway, to all our lovely friends on YouTube and Spotify, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know when we post a new video. So ding ding baby.
Yeah,
Ding ding.
and we welcome your lovely comments and all of that. And if you ding ding, then my
Happy
tree
New
is still
Year.
up. Sorry,
Yes.
guys. I mean, I
It's
still have a couple
okay.
more
You
days left. I can
have
take it down.
until the 6th of January to keep your tree up.
I
Officially,
like it, the
12 days after
twinkly
Christmas.
lights. It makes me
It's
happy.
nice, isn't it? It's pretty.
But
I like it.
they say after the 12th day, it's bad luck. 13th day, it's bad luck.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Bye, friend.
Bye, everybody. Bye. See you later, alligator.
Deuces.
Yeah.